Alright, behind me here is Randy's 80s 1500, and I need to bolt on the LSA that we're converting this to. So we can get this thing finished up, hopefully in the next month or so. This is a LQ4. It's got like a stage 2 cam basically, 4L60E, fast 102 that we're taking off, obviously, a 102 throttle body. This is a complete frame off resto mod. Basically just a nice cruiser with some decent power and, you know, parts truck. So we got a whole pile of parts in the back of the bed for this truck. So the supercharger, lid, base, interior is going to go back in, rewired, digital dash is going in, got to make AC work. So a lot of stuff with this guy, and not a lot of time to do it. So gotta get this off and start bolting things back together. Here I've just started reworking back on this again today, and we had to order all new brackets. So IC2 billet, new brackets for the LSA swap. I gotta get a new water pump because this is the wrong water pump. This is a Camaro or F-body water pump, and I gotta change the crank pulley as well and get the correct water pump, truck water pump, to space it out. I mocked up the bottom or the base of the supercharger just to make sure everything lines up, and we're going to do the isolator, solid isolator mount. So I got that, the snout off, IC2 billet adapters there. So we're going to throw on the isolator. We got a new pulley as well, so I got to press this off, and everything's in the back of the truck. Hopefully we can pretty much have this mocked up by the end of the weekend. It's late Friday right now, so I'm not going to spend too much time, but we'll get things fairly going. The fun haver pulley right there. So it should be fun. My first LSA swap, so learning as I go, and this should make some good power once we're all done. So got the LSA on, the base is on, injectors are in, fully bolted down with the ICT billet adapters, and I completely forgot the whole box of things that we ordered. I have a Motion Raceworks steam vent kit, so I need to change that. Luckily I got the snout just placed on. I got to take the pulley off still to just have it up here for mock-up. So the front one's not too bad, the back will suck to do, but I think I can with just using a couple mirrors and be able to see what I'm doing back there. And got to change the water pump and the crank pulley. These are F-body or Camaro style, so they're too shallow. So the spacing between the passenger's driver side bracket are off from each other. So the passenger side lines up to the crank right now and the water pump, but the driver side does not. And so when I called ICT billet and sent them a couple pictures, they're like, "You're a dumbass." So they're like, "That's the wrong water pump and the wrong crank." So spacing is off. So the truck water pump, the two mounting ears, I believe, are more forward, and the spacing that I used is supposed to be for the truck one, so it would actually line that up, and the spacing on the driver's side is all to the block of the head, so that will line up afterwards. So gotta pull some stuff off, get the pulley or the puller for the crank pulley, get that off, do the steam vent kit and get that going today. Brackets are swapped, crank is swapped, water pumps are swapped, fun lines mounting on the alternator, power steering pump pulley needs to be pressed on more. It's starting to strip, so got to figure that out. laying out the harness, and this painless harness I'm gonna have to modify a little bit. I don't like how some of the wires, where they come to. I'm not gonna be using EGR stuff like that, so some things will have to be deleted. I gotta convert this to speed density, so I gotta go to the mass airflow sensor and keep the IAT out of that. And gotta convert the map sensor for the LS3 style plug. Gotta hook up everything underneath that for the transmission on the truck. Then I need to extend power, or mainly power, over to the battery, and run wires for the starter. Make sure everything cranks over nicely, and that's where we're finished off for now. Alright, it's another very late night. I've been going at it all day between the two vehicles. So here's where we're at. On my car, ran the new power lines, so 0 gauge, power and ground up to the front. My battery posts, I do want to change these to something nicer. Ran all the way to the back to my relocation in the trunk. So I got a 200 amp fuse here, A&L fuse, my 0 gauge ground in. I have ground post here, and then power ground for the stereo system with its own separate fuse panel. And the main fuel pump has got power from there as well, so it's direct pretty much from the battery. On the truck, all the leftover wire that I have from doing my car I'm going to use on the truck because it's a pretty short run. So we're going to run power down to the starter, which is also going to connect to the main power for the ECU. I'll run a separate power wire from the alternator to the battery for charging, and I'll do a short ground from the negative post to the block, and then other side of the block to the frame, and so on and so forth. And that way it'd be pretty short connections for main power and ground for the entire thing. The shorter you can do it with the thicker gauge, less resistance, things should be happier. So that's my plan of attack with that. So it should have good voltage. That's a truck alternator, so it's going to be high output. I think it's about 160 amp, same as what I got on the Trans Am. So now I'm just going to put the Trans Am back together. I was going to look at the rear brakes. I'll do that tomorrow and see what's going on there, so that will be a little bit later. I'm just exhausted. It's been a lot with the supercharger, taking things off and on, off and on, off and on, mocking up, harness mock up, seeing what I need to change there. So I got a long list of stuff that we got to fix tomorrow. Randy will be in tomorrow, so we'll tackle a lot more with 2 heads better than 1, and 4 hands, not 4 pairs. 4 hands will be better than 2. Well, we got something. Throttle reads, coolant temperature reads, intake air temperature reads, and now I gotta try the transmission stuff. It's almost test fire time on this bad boy. Can't give throttle at the same time. Do you want to come on this side? This is the starter wire.
Yeah. Touch it there. Ready? Oh, okay.
Upon working on my car today, Calvin brought his truck by and we decided to do a couple adjustments. This is lowered on a Beltec suspension, added a carbon fiber lip, which actually doesn't look too bad. Stiffened up the shocks as this was really bouncy. A while ago we did full tune-up on this, front and rear brakes, spark plugs, clean the injectors, intake, belt, all the fluids were changed. So it's got quite a healthy tune-up this year. I did a whole bunch of cleanup on the dash for the radio mount because it was coming apart. Fixed that. Steering wheel controls are added back in. Next thing that's got to be fixed on this is the exhaust because my welding sucks. But this thing is super fun. It's going to be even better now with the suspension not riding as soft as it was, and handles a lot better now. So a lot's going on here. That's that update. And we can start the motor on brake clean and run it that way, but we now got to figure out the factory harness, what I need to retain for that, and just eliminate a lot of that stuff and clean it all up because it's from 1986. So Randy's already started that process. We got the interior harness back in for the bulkhead, so we can actually start doing that and actually hook up the ignition cylinder and, you know, be able to run the truck on its own. A lot of things to figure out for AC condenser, heat exchanger, radiator, fans, in the front area of the bumper and lines will be a complete mess. So this is where we want to get it to the point for the show at least. A lot of it's not going to be done, like interior wise won't be done, glass won't be in it, but I need it to be able to at least run and drive off the trailer. That's our goal. So the majority mechanical needs to be just completed and hooked up. So that's the goal. I've never done an automatic swap either with an LS, so I don't know what wires I need for that, for the transmission, torque converter, stuff like that. I don't think it's complicated, but I have to go through it step by step in my head, put the harness laid out to make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be. So once we're closer to that, I'll worry about that stuff on the interior with the harness once it's all laid out, and hook up wires there. So now that we know that we're not going to be needing the bulkhead down there for the old engine ECU, we can run the LS computer through there, make a plate, take all this off, loom it the way I want, re-zip tie things in a better spot, kind of really hide it. It's not too bad right now. Actually, you don't really see much of the wiring, but some of it's pretty long, got to shorten them a lot and then tuck it away. So also thinking of doing like an under hood LED just around the perimeter, just really kind of brighten it up. And yeah, that will be that. I have no idea what time in the morning it is, but it's time for Randy to start this thing on his own. Oh, I'll let you do the honors to do the first key start. Let's make sure everything's out of the way. Here we go. Feel. I need to try to get this idling and running a lot better than it is. The show's over, so the big push to get it running and driving. Wheels at Danforth didn't go quite as planned. A lot of things fought us on the truck. Getting my car ready and working on this, and this is my last official day here at RJ's Auto Tech as an official employee, but I'll still be around for stuff like this. So truck right now, fuel system's done. It won't seem to idle, so I think I'm just not giving it enough commanded fuel. So I need to go back and look in the tune and see if I can get it running and idling on its own, just so that it can make it to the dyno, and we can actually put it around. Shifter, low car shifter that we got for the 4L80 column shift doesn't seem to work with this either. It binds, so got to try to figure that out so we can get it moving on its own. So that's what I'm going to do today, is try to get this thing running long enough that I can actually put into gear and see if everything else works out okay as well. So let's fire up the laptop, let's pop this open, let's do some starting. It's going to be a long start and bright, load, tune, and keep going. So let's get started. Alright, so I just tried doing some injector flow changes, and we are hopefully going to be able to make this run a lot nicer. Close that. Go VCM scanner. Connect the vehicle. Let's start a log. Okay, let's see what happens. Alright, with a lot of trial and error and tuning and uploading and rewriting, I got it to a point now with cranking that with a little throttle input it will run. So I'll see if it'll do a hot start, if it will start on its own nicely. So a little bit of help and it will stay. That's what I've been chasing all week long, was that right there. So my task is complete. I have to jet. With that, you'll see lots more of this. Once it's all together, we get on the dyno and see what it puts down and get it tuned. I'm gonna send Kevin a copy of that just so he can go over it and fix all my errors. So thanks for watching. I'm exhausted. I'll see you guys in the next video.